It is 9 p.m. It is Wednesday night. You know what it is. It is on the Bywire with your boy, Dan Lewis. What's going on, people? What's good? Hope you've been keeping it real. Hope you've been wearing that suntan out there because it is hot. I think I'm going to have to get me a weather person for the show, because I'm sitting there thinking to myself every day, what? I have no idea what's going on. I spend all my time working on this show and doing my little bits of research, finding out what is going on in the world of independent media, and obviously those good news stories about good people doing good things in our good world to make it an even better place. And tonight we have got a treat in for you. We have got the one and only Dave Kelly from Fans Supporting Foodbanks. Now, these guys are inspirational. I love them so much. But before we get to me talking about how great they are, I'm going to let Dave do the talking when he comes on in a little bit. Also, we have got, well, you know what? I'd call this another good friend. It is Lizzie Fletcher. She is the founder of Unity News, and I'm going to big her up a little bit more later in the show. First of all, I just want to give you guys a roundup of what's going on in the world and a reason why you should be donating to Bywire News and in general supporting independent media. Now, it is a great news. It is a great day, but great news for our friends at Open Democracy, who today can celebrate their legal victory against the government. Now, the people them at Open Democracy took the government to court about clearing house. Now, I'm just going to explain a little bit. We're going to go into some more detail later, but about what clearing house is. It's basically an office in the government where when anyone submits a freedom of information request, it gets sent to this office before being sent out. Then the people in this office have a look at the documents and basically decide what can and can't be sent out in the request. They also add the name of the person requesting the document to a government blacklist. Now, that's not a good thing, basically. When politicians stand for election, they always talk about transparency and doing what's best for the people. We've heard it enough times. Remember during the Brexit campaign, all the talk about freedom and lack of transparency from the European Union. Well, the same people who were shouting about all of that are the ones that have also been denying freedom and keeping secrets. We know deep down that it's all just chat. And for some reason, no one has really ever done anything about it. But Open Democracy have. They went to court and they've won. The judge ruled, his words, that there is a profound lack of transparency about the operation. This is a big moment, not just for independent and investigative journalism, but for the people. So celebrate, man. This is a moment. Keep your eyes focused on what we still got to do. Now, also in the news today, Chris Gray from Byline Times has had a look at the cost of Brexit 6 months on. Our passports are blue, but no more valuable than they were before, causing a problem for UK citizens living across the EU and also those trying to travel in between the COVID do's and don'ts of this confused government. From small business owners on the high street to fishermen out at sea, many have found that those beautiful oven-ready trade deals that Boris promised have not come to fruition. Maybe that's why he's been getting so many takeaways lately. I don't know. But after that beautiful campaign, he told us we wouldn't need to wait for the EU to make decisions about our lives. Right now, Boris's team in number 10 are waiting on the EU to find a resolution to the Northern Ireland Protocol. Number 10 have sent multiple resolutions, but none of them work. Maybe Boris can call the Liverpool and get one a bit quicker. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Now, over to those good people at Hacked Off. I salute you lot for your latest piece on the Times coverage of Prince Philip's funeral. Now, I must mention, if you guys follow me on TikTok, you'll know that I'm a big fan of the monarchy. Well, I'm a big fan of the way they get me a lot of views when I mention them. I seem to really get attention from a certain group of people when I mention Prince Philip. Anyway, the Times went hard on pro-monarchy propaganda, calling his racism gaffes. Like this world where it's like, oh, that was a gaffe. No, it wasn't. It was racism. It's crazy that national newspapers can just be racist. Like, look at the bashing of Muslims and black people done by the Daily Mail, the Scum, and the rest every single day. It hurts, it really hurts. And this is legal. Like, they're legitimately allowed to do this. Now, within the Independent Press Standards Organization, organization, Ipso, who like kind of like regulate, or they handle press complaints. They think it's absolutely fine, or they say it is, because to put it into terms that I understand, the media can't be racist to an individual. So yeah, they're not allowed to be racist to an individual, and that's it. That's it. The wording on their rules is exclusively to an individual. But if it's a whole group of people, like generally just talking about Muslims or generally talking about black people, then fair game, basically, according to the rules. And that's their ruling around it. They can get away with it. And when the papers talk about, their racist comments of the lizard's dead husbands, they can repeat his racist comments, especially if he's talking about people generally. Now, somehow, I have no idea, but somehow Britain is still not a racist country. Neither is it institutionally racist, according to the same government that have just been found in court to be not transparent. They've lost in court about not being true to their words. It's amazing that we live in this shocking world. Now, there's just a roundup of a few things. Byline Times, Hacked Off, and Open Democracy, talking about what's going on in the world, stuff that you wouldn't see in the mainstream media. And here on the Bywire, we want you guys to have a look elsewhere, have a look outside of what you get on the 6 o'clock news. That's why we put on the Bywire, and we have bywire.news, where you can get the latest in like nearly all independent media available in the UK. Hit up our website, bywire.news, check it out, make it your daily go-to website, and don't forget to hit that donate button, because without you guys owning the media, you know who will? 5 really, really rich guys. I say it every night. They're really, really rich. They got really big mansions. They don't pay no taxes, and they are controlling the media. And we can't let it happen. Honestly, it is not good. Now, someone else in this world that I feel very strongly about, and I love the work that these guys do, I mentioned before, is my friends at Fans Supporting Foodbanks. And Dave Kelly, who is one of the founding members, he's here with us tonight to talk a little bit more about it, the work that they do. Now, Dave, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate you taking the time out today. I'm sure you've had all kinds going on with the summer holidays coming up, or the half term just gone, and delivering food across Merseyside, and also the networks that you've got across the country. Just for the people who don't know, what is Fans Supporting Foodbanks? What do you do? What's it all about?
Thanks for the invite and the kind words, Dan. I think we need to rewind back to 2016, when Fans Supporting Foodbanks was first set up. And ironically enough, we'd actually attended a meeting in London with the Premier League during the Football Supporters Association's 20s Plenty campaign.
Oh, yeah.
It was ironic. We turned up at the Premier League HQ with representatives from fan groups across the country. And one of the things that used to happen at all the meetings was all of the fans and fan groups always say to us, "Jews come down together. Jews travel down on the same train. So Jews do stuff together." And they always used to just be quite dismissive and explain it away by saying, "Well, it's all right for Scousers. Scousers stick together."
Yeah.
And you'd have a scenario whereby there would be an Arsenal and a Tottenham supporter in the room, but very little or no relationships with each other, City and United, and I could go on. Anyway, Richard Scudamore, the CEO of the Premier League at the time, spent a great deal of time telling us how outrageous it was that we wanted the price cap putting on tickets, and that the Premier League was a wonderful organisation that did lots of really good charitable work.
Yeah.
And he went on to imply that the Premier League does and the clubs does, but the fans do very little or nothing. So coming back from the meeting in London, you've got to bear in mind that they were implying that we were being greedy and unrealistic, wanting the price cap putting on tickets, which were, some of them were going to £62 a go at the time. Now, I was a bit embarrassed that anyone who just signed a £5.3 billion broadcasting deal to televise Premier League games that would accuse us of being greedy. And the irony of it all is when you look how the money is divided and given out to the respective clubs, one of the things, and I know this will bring a smile to your face, believe it or not, the Premier League has got a solidarity fund.
Go away.
And the solidarity fund pays just short of £4 million a year to the PFA because it's using the images of players. It gives nearly £1.5 million away to the League Managers Association because they're using managers' images. However, they don't give the Football Supporters Association anything for using our images. You've got to bear in mind, they've got an extremely valuable commodity that sends around the world to a global audience. And part of that makeup we'll have all experienced this over the last 15 months during the pandemic. Without the colour, the vibrancy, the noise of fans in stadiums, their valuable commodity becomes less and less and less. And it's ironic that over the last 15 months, most of the clubs are now buying into the hashtag football without fans is nothing.
Yeah.
So on the journey home from London, we decided that we should do something and that we should use the unique set of circumstances of us being Scousers and us being able to do things together. And I think this city, more than any other city, in times of adversity, fans come together, they get it, they see the bigger picture. And I speak particularly with regards to things like Hillsborough and the boycott of the Sun. I talk affectionately, and probably one of the most moving things I've ever seen in a football stadium anywhere was when Liverpool Football Club come running out to Z-Cars after Rhys Jones was tragically murdered on our streets. So the more we spoke about it, the more feasible and the more realistic it became that we would do something. What that something was going to be, we were a little unsure, but we thought that amongst the many unique selling points that Everton and Liverpool football clubs have got, is the Walton constituency in Liverpool is the only constituency in the UK to have two Premier League football clubs. Two Premier League football clubs that create immense wealth with over £1 billion turnover between both of them, very little or none of which ripples down into the local communities. 6 of the 8 wards within the Walton constituency are among the most socially and economically deprived in the UK. So that was the basis of us sitting down and having a chat. And we were driving through Anfield the following day, myself and Ian Payne, and we seen a queue outside the community centre that we were going into to have a meeting. Unfortunately, the queue wasn't to come and listen to me and Ian wax lyrical about what we were up to. The queue was for a food bank. The food bank was just about to run out of food.
Yeah.
The chairperson of the community centre invited us into the stock room. Apart from probably the world's biggest bag of pizza, of pasta, and half a dozen or so tins of tuna, there was nothing in there. So we decided there and then that we would attempt to use football and football supporters as a vehicle to fight food poverty. Now, we were also pretty clear in our mind that one of the things that we would need to do, it was no good us competing with something that was already there. Why invent the wheel? Someone's already done it. Someone's done it before us. So let's use football and football supporters as a vehicle. So we hit the ground running the following day. We turned up outside Goodison Park with a wheelie bin kindly donated by Liverpool City Council. And a couple of tweets later, we're standing outside the Winslow on Goodison Road. And I'm surprised at how many Scousers actually used wheelie bins, because there was a lot of chip papers and empty beer bottles in that wheelie bin on that first occasion, and a small amounts of food. So it made it a worthwhile exercise. After a little bit of head scratching, what do we do next? Well, we'll have to do the same again at Anfield next week. And we did it, and we continued doing it. And 233 consecutive games later, when we went into the lockdown, we'd gone from very small, humble beginnings of collecting a small amounts of food in a wheelie bin to collecting on average a ton of food per first team game. Now, when you look at the enormity of that ton of food was, and you look at the data as this government keeps on telling us, tells you a lot of things. 30% of all the food donated to the North Liverpool Food Bank was getting donated by football supporters in this city. Now, when we went into lockdown, that clearly created a massive black hole and a void that we needed to try and fill. That in itself is an amazing achievement. Now, when you look at this, now isn't just going on in Merseyside, and we were always conscious from day one. We didn't want this to become a blue thing or a red thing or a Scouse thing. We needed to widen it out throughout the whole of the football community. And at the time, the Football Lads Alliance was just about coming into prominence, and we see in ourselves as the perfect antidote. I'm a football fan, you're a football fan, lots of us are football fans. Football fans reflect society. Tens of thousands of people who go to football matches are trade unionists, the members of the Labour Party, the politically active. Now, we had the foresight when we first started this up that we realised this could never just be about collecting food. And in our mission statements, the ultimate goal is, and always will be, close us down. We don't want food banks to exist. Now, the reality of all that is we needed, one, to get a stick and plaster for a gaping wound and show collective community solidarity with collaboration of fans and fan groups, local communities, trade unions, CLPs, you name it. But we also needed to do something else. Now, what we were extremely conscious of is, unfortunately, the average person sleeping in a shop doorway, not only have they not got a vote, they haven't got a voice. So we needed to become their voice, and we needed to get food insecurity and food poverty right in the middle of the political agenda. I think you can say with a great deal of sense and pride that we've managed to do that. We have quite deliberately from day one have gone out and engaged with minority groups, and I know you've experienced and witnessed firsthand some of the things we do. And one of the proudest moments was sitting near Dulwich William Mosque.
Yeah, that was a brilliant day.
Watching football with the Muslim community, enjoying a bite to eat. What a wonderful occasion that was. We often get asked, are people involved in Fans Supporting Foodbanks or gay? And why do you ask that question? So, well, the Fans Supporting Foodbanks is a pride banner. So I said, no. Some are, some aren't. However, the reason we use the pride banner is we're showing an act of solidarity with a minority group. But believe it or not, we deliberately use the pride banner as often as we can because it's incredibly colourful and it looks really well on all our social media content. So we have come a long way in a relatively short period of time. And I think most people I speak to seem to be shocked when they're told. We talk about the Right to Food and the Right to Food campaign.
Yeah.
For the avoidance of any doubt, believe it or not, the British government signed the United Nations Declaration 72 years ago to give us rights of food. Unfortunately, it's never been enacted upon. It's not being enshrined in law, and that's what we're now attempting to do. So after 72 years, the government has set up a commission to put together its national food strategy going forward. Our submission has gone in to the national food strategy, and it was relatively well received, and there's lots of quite eminent people from the legal profession spent a lot of time pro bono helping and assisting to make sure that that document is watertight and is fit for purpose. We've currently got the right to food petition, because we were looking to get 100,000 signatures to force the government into an online petition with a full parliamentary debate. Unfortunately, we're going to fall short of the 100,000 signatures needed for that to happen. And that petition actually finishes tomorrow with about 53,000 people on. And someone asked me today, do you feel like you've failed? Not at all. To get 53,000. So there's three lads, three match-going football supporters who've gone the match. To actually get 53,000 people to sign a petition tells me that we're going down the right direction and we're saying and doing the right thing. Now, just because we won't get that full debate in Parliament doesn't mean that the campaign's failed. It doesn't mean that that campaign's over. The campaign will continue. The campaign will grow. Interestingly enough, once you reach the magnificent figure of 10,000 signatures, the government is supposed to give a measured response to the question. Believe it or not, this government decided they were going to totally ignore it, and they didn't respond until we got 43,000 signatures on the petition. Interestingly enough, there's a wonderful committee called the Parliamentary Petitions Committee, who actually looked at the government's answer to our petition, and they sent the government's response back to them and said it doesn't answer the question, take it back and answer the question correctly. Now, you could get bogged down in all the protocol in Westminster and all the rest of it, but things like that won't dishearten us. The campaign will
most definitely.
The campaign will go on and gather strength. And I think when you talk about collective solidarity, who would ever believe that football supporters would be putting tribal differences along to one side, because we've got a humanitarian crisis on the streets in and around most stadiums in this country, whereby people are going hungry. That humanitarian crisis has turned into an epidemic, and it will continue to do so while you've got governments promoting austerity.
Yeah, most definitely. Dave, listen, I want to keep listening to you all evening, but we've got some other stories we want to cover tonight. And first of all, with the petition, like, I definitely agree with you. It isn't, there's no failure in anything that you guys have done. Inspirational is only a small amount of what I think of you guys, and I think many other people. The fact that you've gotten, international footballers support what you do here in Merseyside, and the fact that what you've done has rippled across the UK, and you see, Liverpool and Everton supporters holding up flags alongside Manchester United and the Newcastle supporters all across the UK. It is pure solidarity, and it's the most beautiful kind, because it comes from the streets. It come like that. That's my way of saying working class. Really, when stuff comes from the streets, it's real. It's the realest it can be, and I love that. We've put the petition in the comments. So for you guys out there, please make sure you sign that petition, you share that petition, send it to everyone you know, tag in every footballer, every celebrity, every single person you know, tell them to sign that petition. All right, cool. The government might turn around and have a debate and do nothing about it. But I tell you what, the more we make noise, the more we can start to make change. And if you've got a food bank nearby you, have a look in your cupboard, see if you can help out. Definitely go and support your local food banks. And if you have got a Fans Supporting Food Bank team near you, give them a call and see if you can help out. See if you can volunteer when we start going back to games, because that's going to be a beautiful thing. Football is nothing without the fans. But I tell you what, here in Merseyside, football is nothing without you guys. You, Dave and Ian, the work you two do, it just, I love going to the game and seeing you guys outside and having a chat and a little cuppa or something. It is fantastic. So Dave, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. Really appreciate it.
Nice.
And I look forward to when we can have a cuppa in person. I'll see you soon, my man. Bye-bye. I love those guys so much. And it's so hard. When Dave starts talking, it's so hard. I get lost in it. I'm like, what on earth? Someone else who loves to talk is Lizzie from Unity News. You're the founder of Unity News, the nuisance on Twitter, the famous Facebook philanderer. I think you said. How many times have you been banned from Facebook now? I'm sure you've been.
Well, actually, only once.
I thought you got banned for posting or something.
Yeah, that was sorry, twice. Once I got banned for covering Stephen, who's the guy in a wheelchair that died a few years ago? Very famous, Stephen Hawkins.
Hawkins, I couldn't remember either.
I broadcast his funeral and got banned for it.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the next time was we were coming to the Labour Party conference, and the page got a week's ban, which I took up with Facebook because they were present at the conference in Brighton in 2019. And I had a stand-up row with them. And we came away with loads of pens, Facebook pens, which were crap. But what we've been doing is we'd been complaining to Facebook on messages. You know, you can message them and say, look, I disagree with why you banned us. And they said every time that you ask us to discuss this, we just take it as another complaint about your page and give you another week's ban.
Oh my days. Yeah, unbelievable.
So I learned a lot. About how Facebook operates, and actually, it was very educational. So I was glad of that. But it was never about a story that we'd done. You know, our stories have never been questioned or compromised or faked or anything like that. So it was just purely Facebook didn't like the algorithms, the bots. You know, the bots spotted a word that we shouldn't have used or something. Yeah, no,
I know exactly what you mean. I know a lot about algorithms. My wife is a web and app developer or programmer, and algorithms are basically how she talks to me now. Anyway, let's get into today's independent media. I don't think I've said it enough times today to our audience. So make sure you guys donate. Get on Unity News, get on Bywire.news, get on all of our partners. And if you can, at least like the page, subscribe to the profiles, all of it. Do what you can to support independent media. And also, while you're here, make sure you hit that like button and share this video, because we want to make sure that everyone knows about On the Bywire. It's where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Now, to our first story, it is from Declassifieds. We have got a story. The UK's new nuclear strategy is illegal and dangerous to the world. Now, personally, like nuclear, like I don't know a lot about nuclear, but nuclear is generally dangerous. But Lizzie, tell me why you chose this story and tell me what on earth is going on and why Boris is sitting in a room with people who look like they have access to weapons.
Well, the real reason that I chose this is because it's not so much that, yes, the nuclear strategy is scary. And even though the UK is breaking international laws and the entire world is looking at us and saying, what the hell are you doing? There is no one stopping us. No one stopping our government at all. And it makes me wonder why. Why are they suddenly decided to up the Trident submarines to 260? They about 30 years ago, they made an agreement that they would decommission all our nuclear weapons. And the UK then stood up and said, well, actually, a few are okay. You know, we're okay because we're not going to use them. We're the guardians, you know, but other people can't have them. Okay. So all of a sudden it went down to, there was supposed to be 180 by the mid 2020s, which we're nearly there. And they've just brought out this new 260 new Trident subs. Now, is that because Scotland has been a pain in the neck to the UK government? Because all these nuclear submarines are built in Scotland. Well, I'm assuming they're built in Scotland, actually. They may be built somewhere else, but the commissioning of them will definitely be made in Scotland. The storage and all the facilities, all the people will be provisioned in Scotland. So that's a huge amount of money going into the Scottish economy. Is it a bribe to offer to the Scottish establishment for their continued obedience to Westminster or the powers within that establishment?
It's a crazy situation where we've got, like, you know, like, how many years did it take them to find Osama bin Laden? Like, and dude was hanging out in a friggin' trap house with his boys, listening to some Bob Marley and smoking the finest herbs. You know what I mean? Like, on it, let's be real.
He was watching football, apparently, wasn't he? He's a great fan of football. He would have been football and food banks mad.
Hey, bruv, do you know what? Yeah, at the end of the day, he was feeding bare people. There was like loads of people living in that house. Like, he had his own food bank going on. But real talk, how long did it take them to find Osama? And these same people who, like, you know, they've messed up the last 18 months or whatever of the whole COVID situation. And we're like, oh yeah, give them more nuclear weapons. It's all good. The UN are like, yeah, don't worry about the UK and their nuclear weapons. But like, you know, North Korea, no. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
you guys couldn't even find Osama. Get out of here.
The scary thing that they're now threatening to. It's who they've allowed use against. These nuclear weapons, these new nuclear weapons, are we are able to use them against people like Iran. You know, because Iran are building, and I'm not even sure that Iran have threatened to build a nuclear weapon. They've just proposed building nuclear power stations. So, you know, that's you know, I know there's nuclear is nuclear, and perhaps, but why is there such a huge difference between nuclear for power and nuclear for a weapon? Well, but there is no difference, is there? It seems, you know,
well,
it's all a lie.
I personally, I think, and this is my personal view, I think this government, when it comes to any weapons, so long as brown children are dying, they're happy.
Yeah.
And on that bombshell, some more bumper foolishness from the government. It has been found out today, as mentioned earlier, that it's official. A judge has ruled that the government are corrupt. I love this. I like that. It's official. A judge has ruled.
Yeah. Who knew? Who knew?
Tell us more, Lizzie. Tell us more.
Well, who knew? You know, I mean, Christ, you could have knocked me out of my chair when I read that. £560,000 to a communications agency called Public First, right? Do you know how long it would take you to receive that amount of money in benefits?
I'll be dead.
120 years.
Even Captain Tom didn't make it to that long.
No. So, you know, we're Buggered, aren't we? You know, and this is just one. This is just one of a friend's, a mate's thing. You know, the guy with the pub, wasn't it?
Yep.
Gavin Williamson's landlord, was it, of his local pub? Here in Stroud, where I live, one of our councillors, he runs a small company. I can't remember how much he got, but he bought 2 mansion houses with the money. You know, not a penny of it went on PPE. And the companies that have that have tried to get PPE, it's been unusable. And our nurses ended up in black bin bags.
I remember during the pandemic, you know, nurses were going on social media and like I remember I was talking to people in Bolton who were saying, like, in care homes and they were saying, you know, we haven't got the stuff. And then there was all this put in the media, and the government was saying that, oh, don't listen to this lefty propaganda, you know, these are just Jeremy Corbyn supporters or whatever. And then it was like the people who ran the companies that could make the PPE here in the UK, you know, British run businesses.
We've written to the government 40 times this week saying that we've got £20,000 worth of PPE ready to go, and they don't want it. We're selling it to bloody China.
There you go. And it just, and we were told that it was lies, it was this, it was that.
Yeah,
and like this is where sometimes I get annoyed. You know, we have a justice system, but where is the justice?
Yeah.
Where is the justice for the people? How many is it people that have died? 150,000 people that have died. Where's the justice for the workers who simply wanted to go out and care for people, who wanted to serve their nation? Whatever you did, if you were working. And
how come we're so bloody shocked that one judge has ruled that the government are corrupt, and we rejoice? We won this case. And it was at the Good Law Project. I can't remember.
That's it. Yeah, it is. And big up to Dorset Eye for sharing this article. I just find it amazing that, you know, we sit here and we say all these things and we go to these courts to get these rulings, but then what actually happens? Because at the end of the day, you know, the same people are getting voted into power, and if I can use my platform for anything, it's to encourage real people to stand for political positions where they can, you know, totally change
TV. Stop watching TV. Sorry, go on.
Stop interrupting me. That's what you need. I've forgotten what I was going to say. We're going to move right into the next one, though. Here's another one. More government tomfoolery.
From the Canary, yes.
The Canary, yes. With GP data sharing system has been delayed amid privacy concerns. So basically, just to start this off.
It hasn't been delayed because of privacy concerns at all.
Well, yeah.
Good on the Canary that they felt that they should headline that with that. But you know, the government would not have paused this if it wasn't for David Davis and his considerable standing within the government or within government personnel. He's an out and out Tory, but he's a dignified and decent man, apparently. So, I mean, I don't know him personally, so
dignified
I can't.
And Tories in the same sentence.
Well, there you go. That's why he's left, isn't he? He resigned. So
what's the story here? What's going on?
Well, the GP wanted to share our data. So in one sense, it makes sense because we're all online now. Why can't we, you know, like go and vote? Because our doctor knows where we live. So why can't we go and vote without a voting card or anything like that? Or, you know, there are lots of reasons. If we go to a hospital anywhere in the country, or anywhere in the world, we could have in seconds, that doctor could have all of our details to treat us if we fall ill or anything, you know. So yes, it all makes sense for the system to be updated, but it's not for that, is it? It's so that they can sell the data to American insurance corporations that are going to start charging us. They already have started charging us. You can't get children's glasses on the NHS anymore. You know, you can't get your ears cleaned, you know, if you've got problems with earwax. You can't get that seen to, you know. So we're being charged. It's so that they can finish the privatisation of the NHS.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a whole system that just stinks. And when we know it's already happening, you know, look at Virgin Healthcare suing the NHS
because they didn't get a contract.
There you go. We're like a two-piece show, you and me. Like, you finishing our sentences. I love this, Lizzie.
Sorry, and then
no, it's all right.
And then dumping the mental health contract because it wasn't profitable.
Exactly. This is it. And I think the situation here is that when you have got teams like mentioned in the article, make sure you guys do check it out. It's in the Canary. You know, teams like Just Treatment, who I've been speaking to today, actually, they're doing some great work along with the Doctors Association, the Citizens,
Dr.
Open
Bob
Democracy,
Gill,
National Pensions Convention, all these people
NHS
working together.
That's
it. All these people working together. Go and check out all of those campaigns that we've just mentioned there, and see the work they're doing. All of these stories that we tell you as well. If they make you angry, go and do something about it. Get out there, find out who's involved.
Well, we have got the on July the 3rd, I believe it is, the NHS protests across the country. There's huge protests going on in local areas. So it's not just all go up to London or all go up to Liverpool or wherever. It's in your hometown. I think there's 73 as of today, 73 separate protests going on. So find your local NHS protest and join it and go and stand out there. I'll, you know, paint your placard and fight for our NHS, because it'll be gone. It's already nearly gone, and it'll be totally gone. And then what will we do then? People will be dying by the side of the road because they've got, you know, something that could be easily treated.
Exactly. That is it. Lizzie, listen, thank you so much for coming on today's show. It is, as I said to Dave, it's lovely to see your face, and hopefully, I'm guessing you'll be at the World Transform this year. So I will see you in September in person, and we can have a good chat and catch up, and you can tell me what's good and what's not in Stroud. But thank you again. Make sure you guys out there. Yeah, make sure you guys out there check out Unity News. Lizzie has got the latest and the best after Bywire. It's
stuff to make you laugh.
That's it, definitely. Thanks so much. I'll see you soon, Lizzie. There you go, guys. I love getting to just chill on this show, chat to you lot and chat to some friends. Dave Kelly from Fans Supporting Foodbanks. The petition is in the comments. Go check it. Hit it up there. You know, let's see if we can get it up there to 100,000 before tomorrow. I believe in the people who support Bywire and independent media. Go do something amazing, and make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe, the like, the follow. You know what it is. We're on the socials. We're online. It's on the Bywire. My name is Dan Lewis, and thank you so much for joining me tonight. Peace and love, my people.